Well, we want to tell you about a book launching that's coming and about the book, A Compassion Conversation. It's engaging compassion through intent and action. The author is here today, Vanessa Hurst, and we're going to talk about what all this means. You have a bridge on the cover of the book, and I had not been able to talk to you beforehand, and I've just been been able to finish the book, but that bridge means something.
Right.
You didn't just make a book and say, that's a pretty picture, let's pop that thing on the front. What's up with the bridge?
Well, basically the bridge can be a metaphor for our life, but I developed the bridge based upon, I think we all need to have foundations, and my foundation in the book is to cause no harm, to alleviate suffering, which is the definition of compassion, and then to take life as it is. And then if you notice on bridges, there are pillars, and so the pillars are to really be present in the moment, to be aware, to understand who we are, to live with curious daring, and then to take that intentional look with our life. But probably the most important part of the bridge, that's a suspension bridge. And the cables on the bridge are responsible, they move, they're also responsible for releasing the stress and the tension of the bridge. So for those become contemplative or mindfulness practices for us. So if we can only live through intent and action by being in awareness, and for me that's following the bridge.
Wow, Vanessa, you are deep. Well, you are deep, but honestly, how many people live like that? Maybe more now?
I would say very few people, but I've been going out and talking with people, and you would be amazed at the number of people who want to live like that.
Absolutely.
And they also are very gratified to know that it's easier than they think, because if you're in the moment, it's easier to make a choice to respond compassionately than react out of fear.
Why do you think, and I kind of feel like we've taken a turn, not for the best, but for the worst with social media. People are saying things that you never say to anybody's face. You'll post it on that site, and you'll tweet it and do whatever else is out there, because I'm not that good with it. But they say things they would never say to the person's face if they were standing there. We are missing the point. We're going backwards.
Right. And what I encourage people to do on social media is to look for ways to be compassionate, because I tell people that it's easy to be nasty on social media, but think twice about what you're doing. Carrie Newcomer has this wonderful song out that was when email first came out, and she sings "Don't Press Send." And so I always tell people to wait and really think about what you're doing, because you can't erase it.
No.
Even if you go back in and delete, somebody has seen that already. So
Screen captured it. And everything else. You remember the saying, and my mom is sitting right over there, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And don't put it on Facebook either.
Right.
I mean, that should be the new saying.
Or take a look at how you can reframe it. If you're really upset, how can you reframe it into being a positive? I tell people that when I lost my full-time job, I was open to all kind of possibilities, so I reframed my life to say I had time to write the book. There were a lot of things that I could do as a result of that. Instead of focusing on the negative, reframe and focus on the positive.
Now, you say through intent and action. Those are like two of the hugest things that could ever happen in our life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we wake up every morning and we set our intent. What do we want to do towards a day?
Do you think people really get up and set their intent? I think they just get up and put their shoes on.
Well, you know what? I'm going to ask people. I've been asking people to get up and set their intent. I think that we do. Even unconsciously, we set our intent. And maybe we put on one shoe of one color, and then we put a shoe on of a different color.
Do you know I've done that before? And I went and I spoke, and the lady said, "Ma'am, come here. Have you looked at your feet?" I had on one brown shoe, one blue. That tells you right there, I wasn't in anybody's moment.
Exactly. I got on the elevator with a woman who had done that, and she called her husband, and she said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he goes, "Well, I noticed it. I didn't think it was important."
Yeah, they're divorced now. No, they're not.
But I think it's all an opportunity to say, can you focus your intent? What is your intent going to be? And then how can we act upon it? And so that's what I'm encouraging and even challenging people to do. And it's not easy. What we do is when we discover that we've fallen down and we're not living out of that intent, then we pick ourselves up. And that's where self-compassion comes in. We realize that maybe we're not having a good day. We've done some things that are not real great, but then we can always shift back into intent. But just to remind that, I tell people the greatest invention in the world, Post-it notes. Because what you can do with the Post-it note is you can post it all over the place, and you can post things to remind yourself to go back into the moment. And it's just asking people to wake up.
And when you say back into the moment, that's always my goal. I'm trying to get better at it. But what to be in the moment? Let's describe that. What does that mean?
What that means to me is you're not backward focused, so you're not
thinking of the past,
filled with regrets or guilt of the past. You're not forward focused on your hopes, dreams, or worries about what's going to happen in the future. You're really in the present moment. That means if you've got a task to do at work, you are working on your assignment. You are making sure that everything's done. And the other thing is you're aware of the distractions. You're aware of maybe those worries in the back of your mind, but instead of reacting out of them, you're responding by getting your work done. And what I say to people is that if you find yourself where you're not able to be in the moment, set a timer for 90 seconds and then sit and pay attention to what's going on in your mind, to your body, and just don't hold on to it. Just gradually, just let it go. Just be aware of it. And in that way, it's easier not to cling to your distractions either.
And when you say action, this is the thing that gets me most. People will email me and say, this is wrong. And if you were to go to here, 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 and here, it could be fixed. And I'm thinking, okay, so why are you calling me? If you know what's wrong and you're telling me how to fix it and you're saying somebody ought to do something, guess who you are? Somebody. Get it done.
My favorite quote, Gandhi, be the change you wish to see in the world.
Yeah, don't call me to be the change. Why don't you be the change? And I'm not saying I dislike changing things. I'm just saying we need to get everybody moving in the same direction.
Exactly. And even to know that one small action can radically change the world. I often think when I go in to pick up coffee in the morning and I have a conversation with somebody, they can change my day and make me much more pleasant. So I think the opposite could be true too. If I have an uncomfortable situation with somebody, that could set their day off on the wrong note too. And that's why it's important to ask yourself, what's my intention? And so if nothing else, if people read the book and begin to ask themselves, what's my intention and how can I act in ways that are loving, gentle, and kind? Because I think the majority of us want to do that, like 99% of us. I don't think people go out of their way to be mean. It's just because they're hurt themselves.
That's what I always tell everybody. Something got them to where they are. You don't know what it is. You don't know what they're going through, so you should always treat them kind. Upcoming event. It will be a book launch. Again, the book is A Compassion Conversation, Engaging Compassion Through Intent and Action. Thursday, March 6th, noon to 1:15. You can bring your own bag lunch. March 26th.
March 26th.
Yes.
Yes.
Did I give the wrong date?
You said March 6th. Yes.
Okay, yeah, my producer's telling me, Don, March 26th at the Drepung Gomang Center for Engaging Compassion. They bought the Dalai Lama here. It was a wonderful time. That's at 411 North Hubbard's Lane. Free, but you really should register so they don't get 2,000 people in there. 614-5616, and any donations are welcome. Where can you find the book, though, if you don't get it there?
You can actually go to my website, intentinaction.com. There are links to Amazon. If you want an ebook, there are links for that as well. But there are also, you can go to Carmichael's in special order or Barnes & Noble.
Okay, there we go. Well, when we come back, we're going to putt for the patch. It's great fun and a great cause. We'll be back.